This video shows you how to construct the Daedalus cube, which was designed by Gregory Benedetti from France. A previous video explained the Daedalus puzzle and what it was. This video shows you how to build this using 3D printing technology. It also shows you how to build a rotating holder for the cube. The next video will show you how to assemble and disassemble the puzzle. Now, all the files for 3D printing will be available on printables.com. You can look for the username crab. There'll also be a link in the description which you can simply click on, and all updates will be posted here. Now, for the hardware, not too much is required. I've replaced the pins. If we look back, you'll notice there are a bunch of pins that go or fit in these raceways and the parts slide along. These pins were replaced with something fairly inexpensive, and the most inexpensive thing I could find were M3 screws, and I used M3x6 screws. The socket head variety, and you'll notice that that head is roughly about 3 millimeters high. They fit really well in the raceway. One issue might be that the specs on these M3 socket heads have a diameter between 5.3 and 5.7 millimeters. Now, I'm not sure if people are going to find a lot of variance in the M3 screws they get, because I have no idea where you're going to get them from, but we'll find that out as people build this model. There's also two 16 millimeter long M3 screws required for the frame, and I'll show that in a bit. You'll require 4 magnets. Nominally, these are 5 millimeter by 2 millimeter magnets. If you order them from China or AliExpress or even most of the Amazon stores, you'll likely get 5 millimeter by 1.6 or 1.7 millimeter. You may find sources of the 2 millimeter magnets, so I've supplied parts that will fit both thicknesses of magnets. Now, I purchased my screws from AliExpress just because I'm here in Canada and it's just so much cheaper. But I found AliExpress has been very reliable. I've probably placed at least 200 small orders over 3 years, and I've never had an issue. Some things haven't come, but I've always been refunded promptly. I tend to use the Screw Home store on AliExpress for all my screws and bolts. They're very reliable. AliExpress has just started to use something called choice shipping. At least that's an option for me in Canada. What was happening was in the last 6 months, stores which were shipping themselves weren't putting correct information, and stuff was getting held up at customs. Often it never got through. If you use choice shipping, or if you have that option, your shipping is free if you order $10 worth of gear. At least it is that from Canada. Now, these screws are 3 times or a third of the cost of what I can buy them from Amazon. If I look at my local hardware store, $4 only buys me 5 of these screws, and they're zinc plated. The ones that you'll get from AliExpress are all high quality, and they're all stainless steel. So you get 50 pieces for $3.60. Now, because these screws could have some tolerance issues, I'm not sure where you'll get your M3 screws. I strongly recommend that you print only 2 parts and test that your M3 socket head fits and slides well in the groove. Your printer may it certainly will be different than mine, and it may extrude slightly less or slightly more. My M3s measured 5.3 to 5.4 millimeters. My track that I designed was nominally 5.65. It may shrink slightly. I'm using PLA. If you use something like PETG, which I haven't tested, you may get more shrinkage. I recommend you use PLA. Now, if there's an issue, people build and they find that the screws have a lot of different tolerances, I may replace the screws in a future iteration with dowel pins that you would simply tap in with a hammer, because they have much higher tolerance, about a 0.1 millimeter tolerance. The rare earth magnets, also available from AliExpress, are the 5.2, and I've mentioned that I've provided models which will handle the typical ones that you'll get from AliExpress or China, which are about 5 millimeters in circular diameter, but they're only about 1.6 to 1.7 thick. So let's look at what we do to build the cube. I've provided on Printables the 3MF file if you want. Basically, I used Polylite PLA and Airy One PLA for the two cubes that I built. I like Polylite PLA. It's glossy, it slides well. Probably that's the best PLA that I've used. Now, I haven't used a lot of Prusa's PLA because it's about twice the cost here in Canada as anything else. I use 0.2 millimeter layer height, 3 perimeters, which are better to screw into. It's a little, gives you a little thicker plastic. 3 top and 3 bottom layers. I recommend 50% infill because it gives you a better weight on the part. Now you use a bit more plastic, but it's got a much better feel for it. I use rectilinear infill because I have a bed slinger and a gyroid just moves my table around too much. There's an option on Prusa Slicer to use a single perimeter in the top surface, and that generally gives you a better finish from those top surfaces. My seam choice is aligned, and the engine I use is Arachne, which is sort of the default engine to use in the print settings. These are all the parts for the cube. You'll notice there's 7 pieces, and then there's a frame that's in 3 pieces. And the frame parts attach over the protrusions and are glued down. Now the parts on the left slide in the frame using these pins, and you want to make sure they slide really well and don't scrape. Now, printing these tracks in the vertical can mean there could be some inaccuracies. At a 0.2 millimeter layer height, you'll find that anything circular will get flattened, but there's a way to prevent or at least to accommodate that, and that's by making a little V at the bottom. So this should be fairly accurate even though we're printing these channels on the side. Now this is a 6 millimeter screw that we're going to use. We'll show how to install one of these on a part. The holes are often printed on the side, and it doesn't matter that they're not accurate. It's actually better if they're not accurate. It leaves a little more plastic to screw into. One thing is, how far in do I put it? Well, you can simply test by printing another part and seeing if that lies flat and slides. It's too much there. There's a big gap. Those tracks are 4 millimeters in depth, so we need to get this within 4 millimeters. Ideally you want about 3.8, so you can keep trying it, or if you have a caliper, you can use a caliper to measure how high that pin is from its seat. So here you'll notice it's 4.92. That's certainly too high. That's why it doesn't slide very well. So you can keep screwing that in and using a caliper to check, or you can just use the groove on another part. So let's move that in a little more. We're pretty high. So we'll test it again. And it seems to fit there, but you don't want it to scrape. You don't want the end of that to scrape. So it's a little scraping, so we're just going to put it in a little more. So you have 17 of these to fit in. So that's just about perfect now. And that's been installed. So you've got 17 of those to install. And if we check to see how deep that was, we'll see it's about 3.75 roughly. So all the screws should be of that depth. Now, those long 16 millimeter M3s are used for the protrusions here because layer lines are weak and the protrusions could snap off. The screws just make it a lot stronger. And so there's two that you should screw in, and just screw them in till they're snug. You'll feel when they bottom out. Then you can glue on the other two pieces to make the complete frame. Here are the magnets. These are the 5.2 millimeter magnets from AliExpress, and there's 4 places where these go. There's 2 that go in the frame, so 1, 2 for the frame, and there's 2 other pieces that have magnets. Now, it is very important that you put the magnets in with the right polarity. So I recommend that the magnets that go into the frame have one polarity and the 2 pieces have another. But it's really easy to mess this up, and if you do mess it up, it's hard to get those magnets out without ruining the piece. So if you ruin a frame, you may have to reprint it. So here's a piece with a magnet. The frame U part has a magnet in it that you'll see there. And this is in the little hole at the bottom. So you can put that in a slot. You can test to see how that magnet grabs. Right there you'll notice that the magnet has a little grab to it. And so it's the correct polarity. If it pushes away, you've got a problem. So the advantage of the magnet is that parts don't just fall out with a little shake. So that's testing those 2 pieces. The other 2 pieces are right here that go together with the magnet, and that will slide up, and that should be enough to hold it if you're using a rare earth magnet. Now, how do we install those magnets? Well, I'd recommend installing them. Put a little dab of crazy glue, not too much, you don't want it to ooze out, but a little dab of crazy glue in the hole. I would recommend putting the magnets in before you put the M3 screws in, but you can get one of these little tools and just push it down. In fact, the magnet, if it's the right way around, will stick to the top of the tool. And this one's adjustable. Now, this is an expensive tool called a Nipex, but there are much cheaper ones at your local hardware store that will work fine. Now, to install these, you want to put some crazy glue around the protrusion in the hole, and then you want to clamp them, not too tight, but snug, so that the glue will harden. I would leave the clamp on for at least an hour. So we're actually going to crazy glue this. I'll generally put a little around there and the front. Again, I don't want this to ooze out, because if you get crazy glue on parts that are visible, it turns the part white. So now that part's on, I added the glue off camera and then put it on fairly tight. And I just used a C-clamp here that I 3D printed. This model is available in Printables and works really well for this type of thing. So you want to be snug, but not too snug. And that should harden fairly straight. This shows clamping the second part. And when you clamp it, you want to make sure that you're clamping it straight. And one of the ways you can test it is just making sure a part fits in there. And it slides up and down. This shouldn't be sloppy, but it shouldn't be too tight. It should slide reasonably easy. And when it's all done, here is how that looks. After you've built the cube, You can watch the solution video if you want, or you can have someone else put it together and then you can take it apart. Although I will warn you that taking it apart is very difficult. Next we'll look at the cube holder. And the cube holder that I designed is only one option. You can certainly use, there are many cube holders that you could build. The one I have actually rotates, and it uses one 608 bearing, which has 22 millimeter outside diameter, 7 millimeters thick. However, you can use a 3D printed bearing, and we'll take a look at that here. So a 3D printing bearing, one of the ones I've tested, which works fairly well, is from this person on Printables, Jerry IE. I used the 608 tight version. You might want to try that one first. He has a regular version and then a loose one. The loose one is pretty sloppy, so your cube will tilt back and forth. When you're printing the bearing, make sure you use a random seam. You don't want one line down one side of the outside of the bearing, and use enough perimeters, as you can see in the picture here, so that there's no infill. There's just circles of plastic. So here's one option. I found this on Maker World. This was a nice little cube holder. It doesn't rotate, but looks nice. I use fuzzy skin on the outside. So that's always an option. And you'll find maybe 100 different cube holders out there that will work. The one I made and provide in my distribution has a title part, which at least gives the name, and I didn't want embossing because I find I can't read embossing, so I have it with a color change. And then the part on top, it just press fits and it will rotate in that metal bearing, and it won't spin forever but moves very freely. Has a nice feel to it, but you may not have a metal 608 bearing. You might not want to buy 10 of them. That's how it fits into that opening. That opening should be able to take quite a few tolerances and different bearings. Now if you want to use a 3D printed bearing, they simply just press fit in there. Should press fit similar to the metal one. And if you see the part here, this has the bearing on it, so we'll show how that gets installed. That moves fairly easily. It's held fairly well. It just fits in like that. Now you can see why I used the magnets in my second version. The magnets prevent those parts from just falling out. So that moves fairly well. It's a little sloppier than a metal bearing, but certainly works well. So if you build that holder, you can choose whether you want a metal bearing or just simply 3D print one. And you can even glue the bearing so it doesn't move at all, but it's just a holder. Those are the build instructions for the cube and a holder if you wish to use it. Please leave a comment on the Printables site if you do build the model. I'd be interested to see how it turns out.